Well, howdy there, Internet people. It's Bo again. So today we're going to talk about a dress that AOC wore because that's in the news. But we are going to get to play one of my favorite games, and it's called Let's Pretend That's True for a Second. For those overseas, because I get this question every time she's in a video, AOC is the nickname of an up-and-coming politician. She's in the House of Representatives, and she is the subject of frequent right-wing attacks. They try to make her the outrage du jour as often as possible. And this is no exception. She wore a dress that said, "Tax the Rich," to the Met Gala. The headlines are AOC wears dress that says "Tax the Rich" to event that costs $30,000 to attend. The implication here is twofold. One, that she personally dropped 30 grand to go to this thing. And two, that it would somehow be hypocritical to wear a dress saying "Tax the Rich" if you were rich or were around a bunch of rich people. Let's pretend the implication is true for a second, that that's actually what happened. She did spend this money and all of this stuff. Now, to be clear, it's not. It's probably not what happened, and we'll get to that. First, if you are not rich and you believe that we should tax the rich, and then you become rich and you hold that belief, that is actually not being hypocritical. That's being ideologically consistent. It's the exact opposite of hypocrisy. Telling a bunch of rich people to their face through a dress that you think they should be taxed more is also not hypocritical. That's remaining principled. I know it's confusing to a lot of people, but that's what it is. Now, let's say that she did drop 30 grand to go to this thing. Now, to be honest, I think tickets are actually $35,000. And yeah, I mean, that does seem kind of wasteful. If she didn't need the money, perhaps she could donate it to something. I mean, she obviously cares about fashion. Maybe she could donate it to, I don't know, a museum that protects and catalogs tens of thousands of artifacts that's called the Costume Institute and is actually the cause that was benefited by the Met Gala. Maybe she could do that. Because, I mean, that would be a headline, right? If that actually occurred and it wasn't something that was just trying to provoke outrage, the actual headline would be that a congressperson donated about a fifth of their yearly salary to a museum. And when you say it like that, all of a sudden that doesn't sound like a bad thing. It almost sounds noble. I mean, sure, it's probably not the cause that I would support, but I mean, the arts are important. I'm sure that somebody's going to say that she could have taken that money and given it to causes that support homeless veterans, because that's the cause that everybody says they want to support anytime they don't want somebody to support a different cause. But let's be real honest for a second. If all the people who made posts like that just put a quarter in a jar every time they made a post like that, the homeless vets could afford to attend the Met Gala. But sadly, and unsurprisingly, there's still a lack of funding. It's almost like the people who say that are really just wanting to use them yet again. So, there's no hypocrisy here. And if she actually did do this, which she probably didn't, it's a noble act. She's literally giving up a fifth of her income to support a museum. That's not a bad thing. What probably happened, though, is that she got her ticket for free because she's a celebrity. That line between politician and celebrity, well, it gets fuzzy at times. So the Met, they paired her up with a designer, and she got her ticket for free as long as she wore the article of clothing that the designer gave her, because that's what always happens. That's why the Met is able to charge 35 grand to people to get into this thing, because they get to meet a bunch of famous people. They get to rub elbows with them. This event raises $13 or $14 million for that museum. So what is being implied in these headlines probably didn't happen. But if it did happen, it's not hypocritical, and it's actually kind of noble. This just goes to show how the media can spin a story or fabricate one. If what they're implying is actually what occurred, they're kind of saying that donating a massive amount of money to a museum is a bad thing. And I mean, that certainly is a take, I guess. I don't know that it's a good one. At the end of the day, this is just like a lot of the coverage that we're getting. It's designed to provoke outrage where there is none. Anyway, it's just a thought. Y'all have a good day.